We have question 24 and it's a cuboid with dimensions as shown. We're told the length, the breadth and the height, and the first step is to find the length of a face diagonal. Give the video a pause if you wish, but I will continue. So it's a face diagonal. So we just take a look at one of the faces in isolation. We take the face ABCD. This is one of the more difficult questions at level C. Had I not split it into two parts, this would be at least a level B, but because I've given you the hint in A, this would make the question a bit more simple. Remember, about 65% of the exam will be level C, the other 35% roughly will be above a level C. So depending on how the exam is written, you might get it like this or you might get it all as just one section, with the latter being more difficult. So AD is 24. And the breadth CD is 8. So all faces of a cuboid must be a rectangle, and for the record, a square is a rectangle. So what you know about a rectangle is all of the angles must be 90 degrees. But we have to find the face diagonal AC, so we can split it into two portions and take one of the portions. We have a right angled triangle, and we know the length of two sides, so we can use Pythagoras to find the length AC. So the hypotenuse is the longest side and is opposite the right angle. So we can do AC squared with AC as the hypotenuse is AD squared plus CD squared. Plug AD is 24 and the CD is 8. And when you plug this into the calculator, you will get 640. Take the square root of this and you get AC equals 25.2982213. Are we told about rounding? Well, there is a mention of rounding in the second part, but not in the first part. So I'm going to go with maybe 1 decimal place. So 1 decimal place, I'm going to put 25.3. So AC is 25.3. The next part is a bit more difficult. We have to calculate the length of the space diagonal AG. Now, what we mean by a space diagonal is it's the two vertices are furthest away. So, for example, A and G are as far away in the cuboid as you can get. Same with, if you want to zoom in, if you go from F to D, that is the longest possible diagonal in a cuboid. And you need to know the difference between a face diagonal and a space diagonal. So you've got a face and a space diagonal. We found AC in the last part. And we know that CG is the height of 9.5. The question asks us to find AG. But I know this is hard to see, but we have another right angle. I know you're thinking, well, this does not look right angled, but because it's in 3 dimensions, it looks different to what it is. So it's a right angled triangle, but in 3D. So that is the 3D version of it. But if I draw this in 2 dimensions, you get AC, you get CG, and you get G. So that is right angled. I know that's going to be confusing, but it depends if you're showing a 2D or a 3D version of it. So let's look at the 2D version. 9.5 and that is 25.3. We can find AG by again doing Pythagoras, and again AG is the hypotenuse. We do AG squared equals AC squared plus CG squared. We get AC. We're perfectly entitled to use the rounded off answer. Now, had this been one big question rather than two split up sections, you would retain more significant figures before you substituted in, but because it's in two sections, you're entitled to use the answer you found in part A. So even if the answer in part A is wrong, you'll lose marks in section A, but the follow through, you can still get full marks in B by follow through. But I would keep a few more significant figures if it was one question, but because it's split up, you're entitled to use the rounded answer. That's 730.34. And we go back, it's very similar to what we did in this one. We take the square root, and you see it's again very similar to this. AG is 27.0248034 centimeters, and it did ask us to round to three significant figures. So the easiest way to think of this is, if you had it to two significant figures, it would be 27. But 27.0 is three significant figures. That is because after the decimal point, any trailing zeros, any zeros count as significant figures. So to three significant figures, we get 27.0 centimeters. And you have to pay attention to rounding, but that would be us finished. So I hope you found this useful, and thank you for watching. Best of luck with the studying.